watching KSL News.
Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Rascon.
And I'm Debbie Worthen. A massive sinkhole has taken over a section of an American Fork golf course. Employees at Fox Hollow Golf Club say the sinkhole was first spotted around 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. They say there were no indications the ground in the area would give way, but today, hole 14 of the course is fenced off.
Yeah, city crews ripped out the pipe that funnels water from the American Fork River. They say it's likely a tree got jammed in the pipe, causing the rushing water to expand. That's when the sinkhole appeared. They say the barricades are temporary while the water runs as high.
When the water goes down, we're going to try to, find a more permanent solution. But for right now, they piled in a bunch of rocks to try to keep it contained. And it's been, throughout the night, American Fork City was here all night monitoring it and, making sure that it stayed contained. And, overnight, it's not gotten any bigger.
Coming up on KSL-5 News at 5, news specialist Shelby Lofton joins us live from the side of this sinkhole. She'll show us video of what the sinkhole looked like when it first formed just yesterday.
That's huge.
It is
That's
really
crazy.
Huge there. Boy, taking out an entire hole there in a golf course. You can see it and smell it. Right now, Utah is getting a large dose of smoky air in the moderately unhealthy range from wildfires burning up in the Canadian Rockies.
News specialist Jed Bull shows us this isn't a typical weather pattern for us, and we shouldn't be stuck with this bad air for too long.
You can see how the smoke is being kind of pulled down towards the south.
Derek Malia is a research assistant professor at the University of Utah who studies the impact of wildfires on our air quality.
We're getting winds coming from the north and transporting that smoke down to the south across areas like Utah, Colorado.
Across the plains into the Midwest. Fortunately, Utah is not getting the worst of it.
The worst air quality, though, is probably located across the Front Range of Colorado. Denver.
Not a typical weather pattern for us. More often, Utah's smoky air blows in from California, Oregon, and Washington. It's also unusual to have such large wildfires in May because fuels have not dried out enough from winter precipitation. But unlike Utah's winter, Alberta had a dry winter.
This is why they're seeing a lot of wildfire activity across this area.
And take a look at this. Pyrocumulonimbus clouds.
A pyrocumulonimbus cloud is a fire-generated thunderstorm.
Malia tells me the fire releases enough heat energy that it creates its own weather that helps spread the smoke.
It's really efficient at lofting smoke from the fire at the surface very high up into the atmosphere, which increases the likelihood that it can get injected within the jet stream.
Once the smoke is in the jet stream,
the smoke plume is basically hitting the top of the atmosphere that is where most of our weather resides. And so basically it hits the top of the atmosphere and kind of spreads out kind of like a pancake.
Well, the smoke scientist developed a 5-day smoke forecast model with a colleague. He says it's still in the testing phase, but it is providing some good information.
Yeah, their forecast shows the worst of the smoke will only be with us a couple more days, thankfully.
Yes, and let's check in with Kristen Van Dyke now because Kristen,
Today wraps up a weekend of international climbing competitions in Salt Lake. The International Federation of Sports Climbing's World Cup brought not only climbers, but vendors, food trucks, a beer garden, live music, and more to downtown Salt Lake this weekend. Well, the women's boulder and speed finals yesterday saw a winner from the U.S. and another from Poland taking home the gold. The men are completing their finals tonight for both boulder and speed. Earlier in the week, the first paraclimbing World Cup of the season also took place. A marathon.
The river going over the banks onto the road here.
When news breaks,
Look at this bridge right here.
KSL is on the scene.
They're extremely grateful for what volunteers have done.
Stay with KSL-TV and radio.
Little Cottonwood Creek.
KSL,
Look at that.
your breaking news leaders.
Yep. Well, still to come on KSL-5 News at 5, a massive sinkhole takes out hole number 14 at a popular golf course in Utah County.
And a flood warning.
You're watching KSL News.
The whole entire par 3 is about to be underwater here.
Wow, that is incredible video. A popular Utah County golf course now down a hole after floodwaters take it out. Good evening and thanks for joining us. We are on flood watch tonight. The American Fork River has eaten up part of that golf course.
Yeah, you could see it there. Crews are monitoring a large sinkhole that appeared at a Utah County golf course. News specialist Shelby Lofton joins us live from the site. And Shelby, another flooding issue we're talking about here.
Yes, we are, Dan and Debbie. We are at the Fox Hollow Golf Club. The American Fork River runs underneath this golf club, but right now golfers have a spectacular view of the river because this massive sinkhole has appeared. It appeared yesterday. That's when the earth gave way around 1 o'clock. Thankfully, no one has fallen in or has been hurt, but this has really changed the game out here.
One of the guys came out and told us that 14's gone.
The Fox Hollow Golf Club is down a hole.
We got a phone call and I ran out there and immediately got on the phone and contacted the city.
What's usually green, sloped land is now a gaping hole in the ground.
I mow up here and it wasn't like that Friday.
A few days ago,
No indication whatsoever that it was going to give way.
now the same section he mows is gone.
That's kind of freaky.
Ultimately, right up on this sinkhole in the middle of the course on a par 3.
I wouldn't be sitting that close to it.
To keep people safe, city crews fenced off the area.
We're really operating right now on 16 and a half holes. We've shortened one of our holes to keep people away from hitting in that direction.
The pipe that used to sit here was ripped out.
We think a tree, from the river got jammed into our pipe, and the water, obviously expanded through the pipe.
The whole entire par 3 is about to be underwater here.
City crews are working on patching it up.
When the water goes down, we're going to try to, find a more permanent solution. But for right now, they piled in a bunch of rocks to try to keep it contained.
It's not keeping golfers away.
I'm ready to tee off.
Now, golfers can't expect this part of the course to look this way, this massive gaping hole in the ground for the next few weeks. The water is running high, as you can tell, and the runoff isn't expected to die down anytime in the near future. But the golf course and city crews are going to be out here daily. They're bringing in more rocks tomorrow, trying to make sure that this hole doesn't grow any bigger. Dan and Debbie, I'll send it back to you.
That is incredible. Oh my goodness. Shelby, thanks for that report. Best of luck to them.
Yeah, be safe out there. Thanks. Officials in Provo are warning tonight at 10.
The whole entire par 3 is about to be underwater here.
A massive sinkhole eating away a Utah County golf course. Hole number 14, gone.
I ran out there and immediately got on the phone.
Rescue. All right, thanks a lot, Kristen. The American Fork River has eaten up part of a golf course, the hole only growing since it was first spotted yesterday.
Yeah, it's a pretty incredible sight here. News specialist Shelby Lofton takes us to the scene where golfers now are working around it.
One of the guys came out and told us that 14's gone.
The Fox Hollow Golf Club is down a hole.
We got a phone call and I ran out there and immediately got on the phone and contacted the city.
What's usually green, sloped land is now a gaping hole in the ground.
I mow up here and it wasn't like that Friday.
A few days ago,
No indication whatsoever that it was going to give way.
now the same section he mows is gone.
That's kind of freaky.
Ultimately, right up on this sinkhole in the middle of the course on a par 3.
I wouldn't be sitting that close to it.
To keep people safe, city crews fenced off the area.
We're really operating right now on 16 and a half holes. We've shortened one of our holes to keep people away from hitting in that direction.
The pipe that used to sit here was ripped out.
We think a tree, from the river got jammed into our pipe, and the water, obviously expanded through the pipe.
The whole entire par 3 is about to be underwater here.
City crews are working on patching it up.
When the water goes down, we're going to try to, find a more permanent solution. But for right now, they piled in a bunch of rocks to try to keep it contained.
It's not keeping golfers away.
I'm ready to tee off.
Shelby Lofton, KSL-5 News.
Thanks a lot, Shelby. Thankfully, no one has fallen in or gotten injured, but this hole could be around for a while until the runoff slows down.
Well, Salt Lake City Cruise too.
It does, yeah.
Thanks, Kristen.
Well, coming up, competitive climbers getting the advantage of the nice weather this weekend. Hear how Team USA is doing in climbing's World Cup.
And scientists finding the...
Welcome back. Competitive climbing taking over downtown Salt Lake City this weekend.
Today, wrapping the World Cup of the International Federation of Sport Climbing in Pioneer Park. I saw this all set up, did you? Competitors from around the world navigated tricky routes up the wall as well as speed climbing. At least 2 U.S. climbers taking home top honors. The event drew a crowd who could also enjoy vendors, food trucks, and live music.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing out there. In Richmond, a celebration...